Yes, what's going on, guys? Today on Football Therapy, we are discussing what's going on behind the scenes with these marketing mandem that are dropping like flies. New sleeve sponsor coming. What's going on with the front of shirt sponsor? So many people within the business sector of Stamford Bridge are leaving. Some good news, though. Apparently they're getting a new sleeve sponsor. Fine. Giovanni Kenda scored a lovely goal yesterday and has got a high rating in the Champions League. Two future Chelsea stars, both 17 years old, playing last night in Europe's highest competition, which is nice. Of course, we are playing away at Manchester United. Trigger warning, horrendous stat coming your way. We haven't won Old Trafford since Sir Alex Ferguson's era. That is nothing short of harrowing. So we're going to get into that, talk about that a little bit. Of course, at time of recording, I haven't seen Maresca's press conference, so provided he doesn't drop any like crazy twists there, we will build a lineup together and speak about the game, which would be kind of fun, I think. Also, a little bit more on the charges and the money put aside. I found pretty interesting, something I heard Simon Johnson of The Athletic say on their latest and most recent Athletic podcast. So it's going to be a great video, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. I am. So, yeah, thanks for joining me as always. Thank you for supporting me, friends. You can support me by subscribing to the channel, dropping a like, and hype points, apparently. But yeah, man, we are slowly going to 200,000 subscribers. It has slowed to a glacial drip. The speed of my subscriber gains? Sounds like I'm a gym bro. Gains. But, yeah, I've probably reached my ceiling, but if I get to 200,000, I'll be very grateful, and I could feel like I can just rest. We got that guy a long time ago now, that 100k, so we are on the route to 200,000. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, firstly, I did just want to quickly reference this, because everyone spoke about, or it's been widely reported, that when Chelsea did their due diligence checks, the new ownership, Blueco, Todd Bodie, clearly their man, they looked through the books, they combed through the books, and they thought, this doesn't look good here, so they self-reported the financial irregularities, which is a sexy term. They dobbed on themselves, they told on themselves, so they could, have a good, open and fair dialogue and do everything by the books, all completely kosher with the, the governing authorities or whatever. And actually, I thought they put a lot of money to the side to pay these fines, but actually what they ended up doing, presumably with Rain Bank, who is, remember, the New York-based bank that Abramovich and the UK government used to sell Chelsea. Blueco negotiated the price down because when they were looking through the books through the Roman era and they found these problems that could see them getting in trouble, they showed them to the sellers, which was essentially Rain Group, and they got £100 million off Chelsea. So they actually negotiated the asking price down because they were like, we're going to need 100 million, who knows, maybe more to pay fines for when UEFA, the FA, the Premier League catch up with us, and and that's why, of course, now we as Chelsea fans and Chelsea as an institution are hoping that they get fines and no sporting sanctions for their transparency. Just wanted to reference that early doors while it was in the Dome piece. Let's move on. Yeah, man, so just quickly, sponsor. This is an exclusive on Football Insider. We agree, Chelsea plan to agree a £15 million sponsor deal after talks revealed. Now, this is a sleeve sponsor deal, of course. Things would have had to have gone really badly in the chase for a main shirt sponsor. To agree a £15 million deal. Come on, guys, we're in the Champions League now. We're champions of the world, Club World Cup. We've got the badge on our chest. That will be represented next to your sponsor, your company, across our chest, next to that beautiful golden badge. That can only be a good thing for negotiation terms. So, we want £60 million a year. Heck, we're going to go for £65 million a year. That's what we are going to do as Chelsea. Hasn't happened yet. It would have to have fallen incredibly far to go down to 15. I still think they genuinely have great confidence in getting the 60 plus a year, and they will tell themselves they're in no rush because they've sold loads of kits. There's actually a lot of people like the kits without the sponsors on. I give you this. I give you this. The third kit from last season. What else we got here? We got, of course, the new third kit from this season. The first kit was a couple of years ago or whatever last season. That's a beauty. I've been mugged off by the old FA Cup shirt. This has actually got the Yokohama tyres on, but do you remember, it's the special edition, so it was in blue, so you couldn't see it. They sold plenty of kits from not having the sponsors on it. As of course, that's not offset having £60 million a year from a sponsor, but they believe they can keep their powder dry because they're so comfortable in PSR. Now, of course, the UEFA rules are a little bit different. But I do pose the question, what the ruddy heck's going on in the background? Because, of course, we had Tom Glick. Is it Tom Glick who's left? So many, people that do the financials at Chelsea. Chris Jurasek left. Of course, now a chief revenue officer has also left, in Kasper Stilsvig. Why are these financial CEOs and P guys coming and going so rapidly at Stamford Bridge? Is it related to what's going on, or should I say, what's not been going on, not been happening in relation to, sponsorship deals, getting deals over the line? It feels a little bit like, we need to get a wiggle on here, mate. Do you know what I mean? Right. Look, there's loads of Chelsea news. There's more stuff on Mike Mignon, which I'll pick up later. We don't need to speak about transfer news now, but I do want to speak a little bit about, before we get into the match preview, about Giovanni Kenda. All right, baby. So last night I watched Barcelona. Marcus Rashford's Barcelona, should I say. Give it its proper name. Duncan on Newcastle 2-1. A good win for them. Just such an incredible team on the ball. Rashford scoring a lovely header and a superb golazzo, which I'll be reacting to on the second channel, Football Yannick, where I talk about all things football unrelated to Chelsea. Should you be interested in that, search Football Yannick on YouTube. But future Chelsea youngster, Giovanni Kenda, played Kairat last night. Of course, the Satpayev played up top for them, and he's a striker, future Chelsea striker. Got a booking, didn't get a goal, hits the ball well. He was in the vast underdog team playing up against Sporting. But he's 17, Datsun, but so is 17-year-old Giovanni Kenda. Again, inferior opposition, but an 8.7 rating in the Champions League. He's still so young. This is when you're thinking, we are going to be... Look, let's just quickly look at his performance stats and then we'll talk about this. He played the full 90 minutes. He scored a goal from an XG of only 0.37. Got himself an assist as well. Bang, bang. 2 goal involvements out of the 4. So he's involved in half the goals they scored. He made 2 key passes, a couple of accurate crosses, created a big chance. 2 shots on target, none off target. So he took 2 shots. Both on target. The majority of his dribbles he completed. The majority of his ground duels he won as well. So this is a 17-year-old winger in the Champions League. This is great stuff. Yes, we are developing a bloated portfolio of players. We just spoken recently about Manuel Omega joining in the summer. There is so many players. There's so many. But, and as much as you might think that's silly, the deal we've agreed for Kenda, this extra season he's having at Sporting, you sell them and make loads of money. You do it with those Champions League clubs wanting to sign Omega. If you've got them, which means you can either sell them for profit, or if they're good enough, you can play in the Chelsea team. And generally, we are reliably informed that if they are good enough, there will be untouchables in this Chelsea team, and it's incredibly exciting to see look, if Jamie Gittins, and I know Kenda's playing on the right, which is the same as Estevao, and Neto, who's broadly been good, if not, he was probably quite poor against Bayern. But the options stacking up. I mean, we just spoke about Noni wanting to go to Arsenal. Of course, the truth has since come out about Noni Madueke. He's not on like 50, 60k at Arsenal at Chelsea. He trebled his wages. He's on 150k at Arsenal. So, remember he wanted the pay rise at Chelsea. Palmer got it, Jackson got it, Caicedo's already on much bigger wages, but he will get a pay rise. Noni never got his pay rise, and then he's trebled his wages at Arsenal, so there's a little bit more of context there of what happened with Madueke to Arsenal. But yeah, he saw the likes of Estevao coming, he probably saw Kenda coming, these players that are playing in his position, and thought, yeah, I'll just go and treble my wages at Arsenal. Anyway, look, it's exciting. It's a good thing to have a superb amount of talent. Right, bear with me one moment. I'm just going to get some stuff up for the match preview. Right, I'm back and I've prepared some information. I just searched Man United. So Man United have won one game this season. It was against Burnley, promoted Burnley at home, and it took a 97th winner from Bruno Penange, because it was a penalty. It was a 97th minute penalty, which is a dagger to the heart of Burnley fans. And yeah, I remember, was it Hannibal? No, I can't remember who conceded it. That was at Liverpool, wasn't it? Still, it was a very sad moment. Anyway, they also lost the Manchester derby 3-0 convincingly. It could have been more. Man City was sort of pretty chill, didn't leave third gear. And this is how Man United lined up. Oh, all over the gaff here. 3-4-2-1. Shock horror from Ruben Amorim, playing a formation we could never have seen coming. Bayindir in goal. Although I wonder if the new boy, what's his face? Sen Lemens. The Belgium kiddie, if he will almost certainly be ready to start for Chelsea, because he's a better goalkeeper and that's how our luck goes. I look at this team, Seshko and Burmo, Diallo. Obviously, they had no Cunha, which is a miss. They shouldn't be playing Fernandes in midfield. That's silly sausage business. But the truth is, guys, we haven't won at Old Trafford since Alex Ferguson, which is absolutely mental. Think of how much banter era opportunity there's been there for Chelsea since post-Ferguson. What's that, 12, 13 years we've not won there in the Prem? Mental, yeah? And Chelsea, I believe, have been the biggest thorn in Manchester United's side in the Premier League era. And this, of course, much predates Roman Abramovich. We always used to give them trouble. Ferguson talks about Zola. He hated Zola, playing against Zola, because he always used to give him trouble. So, it's mental how we haven't won there for so long. So, how are we going to do it? Well, let's build a lineup here on FOTMob. Not sponsored by FOTMob. They are welcome to give me money should they want to. In goal, let's choose. Where is Sanchez? There is Sanchez in goal. We are. I don't know if we're going to play a box mid. I think we probably are going to play a box midfield in this game. Of course, we saw something a little bit different against Bayern Munich, but it was a more reactive game. Surely we've got to try and overload the midfield here, so it's going to be a little something like this, and this in possession, which would kind of mean that one fullback gets forward to hold width, and we find a way, as always, to attack with 5 and defend with 5. Well, let's even though they've had a quick turnaround, it's a big game, it's an important game. We didn't win our last Premier League game, so we're gonna go with the bankers, aren't we? Let's do that. Caicedo. Let's just get that guy in there. Moises Caicedo. Cole Palmer's surely going to start. I wonder this. I'm going to build something a little bit special here. Hope these guys aren't too tired. That right-hand side is looking proper naughty already. I do think he will turn to Enzo Fernandez. He hasn't been playing the best in open play, but he's Chelsea's vice captain. And actually now, in terms of wingers, actually, who have I done? Because, I tell you why, because Malo Gusto got an assist, but he okay. I'm changing my mind, actually. I'm changing my mind, of which I have the right to do. Malo Gusto will be holding the width as the advancing fullback that goes forwards, which means we won't see Reece James in this game, I don't think, unless he just straight up starts in midfield. I think Reece James will come off the bench as a sort of defensive guy. I think we are going to see not Jamie Gittins, but Garnacho. No one will be chomping at the bit more than Garnacho to do well in this game. He's looked alright in a little bit. He will get booed almost certainly, but I wonder how he will react. I mean, it is at Old Trafford as well. Will Maresca be like, oh, let's let him settle a little bit, like just his first start to be at Old Trafford? Would that be a bit too much? I don't know. I'm going to chuck him in for the vibes. So the width will be held by Garnacho and an advancing Gusto in possession. We are very short on options in defense at the moment. I am going to do something a little bit different. You could put Reece James here, but I'm going to put in Josh Achampong at right centre back. It's wild. I'm a wild guy. I mean, maybe I'd love Fofana to be ready. I don't necessarily trust Fofana at the moment. I see Fofana trying to, be a little bit too spicy on the ball, doing certain things. Josh Achampong, I think, will be a bit safer, and I think maybe would need that. You could put Reece there. But I'm going with Josh Achampong, which means, of course, Cucurella needs to start, because in rest defense or out of possession, he'll need to be the left back, which means the final player to start. So if only someone like Lavia was fit as well, that would be really, really helpful. And Sugo is not available either. I think Santos deserves a start. I know he sees him as more of an attacking midfielder in that Fernandez role, but look at that. I like that. It's Man United. We need to impose ourselves. That is a very good team. Substitute appearances from Reece James, I'd say, from Estevao, maybe earlier, maybe Jamie Gittins. Of course, I've made a big decision here in dropping Pedro Neto. I do think we've overcooked him a little bit. I think he could come off the bench here. So this would be the shape in possession. Of course, out of possession, we would see, I suppose Tosin would have to play on the left side a little bit. We would see something like this. Out of possession, it would be more of like a 4-2-3-1, or 4-3-3, maybe Caicedo like this. It probably could be a bit of a 4-3-3. Caicedo as a single lone pivot. We've seen his heat map lately. It's just like, you can't see me moving him around, but he's pretty much like the middle. Fernandez left pocket, Santos could play right pocket or whatever, and then you could just defend like that. Also, out of possession, you press in a 4-4-2, of course. I think we would see something... Oh, go away. I think we would see something like this. Palmer and Garnacho pressing in a 4-4-2, and maybe João Pedro dropping in and operating in there. A really, really good available squadron of players. Look, guys... We have to beat Man United. Like, we have to. We were undefeated. Well, so we're undefeated. We've literally just lost to Bayern. But we've undefeated in the league. Yeah. We can't. Look, it's early doors, and no matter what happens away at Old Trafford, like, we can recover, of course. But for the narrative, for the vibes, and for our own sanity, and for the freaking 13 years, we haven't won there. We need to win at Old Trafford. Now, there will never be a better time than now. I repeat, there will never be a better time than now to beat Man United. Lamens will probably be in goal. He'll probably put a world-class, performance in. I don't care. We have to go beat him. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, just because the defense looks like it's on the wobble. But I'm going to predict a 3-1 Chelsea win. I'm going to say it with my chest. We are good. We are good. The defense will look what happened against Bayern. I think, right, no more of that. Man United aren't Bayern Munich. Yeah? Grimsby beat him. We gotta beat him. I don't care. No excuses. No excuses. Anyway, so that's my prediction. Let me know yours. Thank you for supporting me as always. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping a like. Thanks for subscribing. Hitting the bell if you choose to subscribe, for that will notify you when I upload. And there's daily content over on that channel as well. Football Yannick. I'd appreciate. I'm nearly on 20k subs there. So genuinely, for the amount of, the few of you who watch this, the few thousands of you that watch this, just some of you go and subscribe to Football Yannick, and that will tip me over the line to 20k subs, and I'll be so grateful and happy. All right, mate. See you soon. Enjoy the football. Peace.